Another fine night was passing. Things were nice and peaceful around the homestead. It was raining a bit, and that was alright. A transport pod crashed down, not terribly far away. Hostile named Tony. She was laying there in the dirt. I debated on getting on over there and helping her out. And she was hostile. I wasn't a fan of that. I got up and had some food. Decided to toss some horseshoes. All my animals were milling about. Decided it was high time I made some food as well. I was gonna have to get some supplies brought up. Speed up the process. And that's what I did. And I set to cooking for a while. Made sure to clean the place up a bit while doing so. I cooked food most of the day until I had a decent stack of pemmican around me. Hamlet was running around, having a good time. After that, it was time to make a little more food for the animals. They were running low, and I'd made plenty for myself. I got everything put away, had myself some food. I don't mind the taste of pemmican at all. And then I sat down to do a little bit of research. I was making decent progress towards microelectronics. I was getting smarter by the minute as well. Hamlet was stopping by. After a while, I got up and put on my helmet. I was going to need it in the morning. Then I was off to bed. Come morning, some food was in order. And then it was time to get on out into the world. I was going to go see if I could claim that fancy armor. I didn't take much with me. Some food and a bedroll. Some medicine in case I got hurt along the way. That was about it. Then I set out. Gathered up my supplies. And off I went. I was excited. This could be a scary prospect. I was told it was guarded by about 6 some scary, freaky beavers. You know, those things can't be trusted. Mean as all get out. I was nervous walking over there, and then I got ambushed on the way. Scared the crap out of me. Some crazy fella, big spiky punk rock hair. He was yelling and screaming, didn't have a shirt on. I started shooting at him. I don't know why he thought he could take me out with a club. I gave him the business. Brought him down. No problem. After that, I got on out of there. There was no reason to hang out. And he certainly didn't have anything I wanted. So I decided to carry on, as you'd expect. At some point, while I was gone, my boom rat, he died. Exploded, burnt up all my animal beds, created a crazy heat storm. By the time I got back, the walls be melted down to glass or something. A manhunter pack showed up as well. 3 big scary muffalo running around. But being that there were no men around, manhunters weren't much of a threat now, were they? So the fire burned, but there was nothing for it to destroy other than animal beds. As I was out in the desert, trudging away, going past volcanic wastes, beds all burnt up and the temperatures leveled out. None of the pets were hurt, other than the boom rat. Hopefully, the animals will find some other spots to sleep. They were going to need them in my absence until I could get back. But in the meantime, I was making good progress. It took me a bit over a day. I made it over there. And those freaky muffalo things milling about. When I arrived, sure enough, I saw there were 6 of those critters. Mad as it would get. I decided to try and give them the runaround and see if I could take them out one at a time. Got my gun ready. Once I started luring them to me, Started shooting them up fast as I could. I wounded one, took a shot at a second. Wasn't having the best of luck hitting them, in all honesty. But I did get two of them shot up a little bit. Maybe they'll bleed out. Shot a third, and it was one shot, one kill, which was fortunate, as they were almost upon me. I tried to run through some soft sand, see if I could slow them down a bit, get them off my tail. It sort of worked, but they were certainly gaining on me. Decided to make for the building, see if I could fight them one at a time. Sure enough, though, they all did catch me. They were giving me some real business, what was going on there. I did get to fight them one at a time. I was bashing them up pretty good. The butt of that rifle, swinging it like nobody's business. I was bit, I was hurt, but there was nothing I could do. Keep right on fighting them. So I was swinging like mad, despite the fact that I was bleeding alright. They scratched me up despite my armor and my helmet. I could see that fancy armor sitting right behind me as I was bleeding, trying to kill those critters. I got down to one left, and things were going alright. I was worried I was going to go down, they were going to get the better of me. But he went down before I did. I felt like I was right on the verge of death, and I was bleeding pretty good. So I dropped the medicine I'd brought, decided to get myself tended up. And I was bleeding right quick. Those critters were laying there, squirming on the ground. I'd killed a few of them, but some of them had survived. Hopefully if they got up, they wouldn't be so darn mad for no reason. I tended myself, though I didn't do it too well, given the dark, my injured condition, and I did run out of medicine as well, which was unfortunate. Once I got that done, I was feeling pretty hungry. I brought out some of the pemmican I had, decided to get that eaten. Then I decided, you know what? It's high time I got on out of here. So I grabbed all my stuff, including that fancy new armor. Left all the dead Alphabeavers. Didn't have much room for them. I wasn't going to be traveling too fast in my injured state, so I left some of the food behind. Started making for home. I debated on what to do, but it seemed like the best course of action, so off I went. Turns out I'd forgotten my bedroll, which was most unfortunate. In the end, I decided I was going to have to settle, see if I could heal up a bit. I was too injured to make the trip, and there didn't seem to be any threats around. So I picked a spot to make a nice home. There are some abandoned buildings around. One of those could easily be taken over. So that was going to be my plan. I was going to need some wood, make a door, but there were plenty of cacti growing all around. So I set up some plans. I was going to chop those down, deconstruct a portion on that building, and then get to building the door. I was so tired I could barely stay on my feet by then. I was in pretty intense pain, feeling rather uncomfortable, and wounded like nobody's business. I slept on the ground for a little while, just to see if I could recuperate a bit, before getting up and getting busy. As soon as I got up though, I decided to do a little bit of cloud watching, see if I could ease some stress. I was feeling about as bad as a fella could. So I laid in the sand, looking up at the sky, before finally getting to work. Got that wall deconstructed, and then I started chopping down those cacti. I was going to have to get my stuff brought in as well, lest all my work have been for naught. I had some food. I brought some coffee. That'd be a nice little treat if I could get myself comfortable again. Well, once I had the cacti chopped down, I got to working on that door and getting my stuff moved. Sure was hungry. Not feeling the best. I wish I had a table to eat at. But that wasn't the case. I got some wood hauled. Not enough to build a door. I fell down and fell asleep right in the sand. It wasn't the best play, but I was extremely tired. So I finally got the door built. Decided to change into my fancy new armor. Keep me safe. I laid down. It occurred to me I should probably build myself a roof. See if I could get myself inside instead of laying outside in the elements here. So I built the roof, and then I was off to sleep, despite being wired on caffeine pretty good. Sleeping on the ground wasn't the best. This new armor was nice. Back home, some fella fell out of the sky, but there certainly wasn't anything I could do about that from here. There were some critters around, so I could make some meals. I didn't have a lot of food left, and I was worried about making it home as it was. So the plan was cut a few more cacti. Back home, my dog gave birth. 2 more puppies, 2 more mouths to feed. Hopefully they didn't run out of food before I got back, because that was definitely going to be an issue for them. Hopefully they'd be smart enough to run on into my cooler, eat some of the food in there. I planned a spot to do some butchering. Decided instead of resting, maybe I'd get up and do some work for a change here. Certainly was not feeling good. So I cut down a cactus, had myself a coffee, decided to start making a fire. It's definitely going to need that. That was my next course of action. And then I rounded up my gun, went on off to shoot some of them exploding critters around. I got one pretty easy. Went down in a blaze of glory. He was on fire, as you'd expect. So I had to get on over there, put him out so he didn't burn up before I could get to eating him. After that, I butchered him up. Then it'd be high time to get to making some meals out of him. This buddy went right down by my house, which was going to be useful if I needed some more food. These certainly weren't the best situation. I was pondering that as I was sitting there enjoying that campfire I'd built. It's no horseshoes, but it's better than nothing. When I got tired of staring at the flames, I decided to start cooking some meals. I got 7 good meals out of that, which is fortunate. Did a little bit of cleaning before finally letting myself rest for a night. And I was already healing up relatively well. I should have brought more medicine in retrospect, but it is what it is. I was lucky to have survived that encounter. Back home, a wild woman wandered in. She was pretty elderly. Hopefully she didn't mess with any of my stuff, but if she did, oh well. Not too much there I'm attached to except for Hamlet. So I laid, and I did my best to heal and recover. Sadly, there's no wild medicine around. And I got up, had a meal, laid back down. My pain was starting to subside. It wasn't great being in darkness, but I didn't want to light a fire inside. That would just make me too hot. There are plenty of animals around here, and I was debating on doing some more hunting, just to keep myself active. A transport pod crashed nearby. A fella named Grunt. I was in no position to help him, nor did I have a space to put him. So in the end, Grunt's just going to have to lay where Grunt fell. I decided to hunt that other exploding critter. And I had good success, considering I'm a pretty solid shot. Of course, he was on fire, like they usually are. Decided to butcher him right up and see about getting some more meals made before going back and resting some more. So that's what I did. Cooked a few more meals. At that point, a good feeling came over me, and it was much needed considering how low my mood had fallen. As I slept, Some random people walked by. Seemed like a happy bunch. I wish they'd have stopped to chat. But oh well. I probably looked like a real mess with the blood and the wounds. My whole neck and jaw were messed up. The left side of my body as well. Torso, shoulder, arm. That was a disaster. Despite that, I decided it was high time I got out of here. Took as much food as I could carry. Decided to leave that scuzzy old flak jacket I'd been wearing. Wasn't going to do me much good. I got some extra leather out of those critters I'd killed. And at that, I was off. Woke up and had a meal. Gathered up my stuff. I left my fire burning. There wasn't a lot of damage it could do. I wasn't too worried about it. As I got on out of there, poor Grunt had died at some point. Perhaps I could have saved him, but it is what it is now. Hopefully I never have to go back to that location. Nothing good happened to me there. Some random person, Curtis was her name, decided to join me as I was out and about. She was looking at getting in there, getting some of my clothes. Maybe I could get her to make some food for my critters. But in the end, somehow she figured out she was unwelcome and she just left. Somehow, that made me a little bit upset. And considering my pain, my discomfort, the fact that I'd forgotten my bedroll, all these things are coming together and make a guy pretty unhappy. I was making decent progress getting back home, and I had plenty of food to make it. Some cargo pods fell while I was gone. Hopefully Hamlet had the good sense to get on out there and get it. And looks like he did. He's such a good dog. No complaints about that guy, that's for sure. I did have to stop and sleep for a night, but I had fully recovered by then, and that was fantastic. If I could just make it back home before anything else went wrong, it would be no harm, no foul, despite the fact that my whole home's going to be a disgusting mess from all these animals running around. The critters did decide to get on into my freezer, eat some of my food, which was good, because they were starving. I wasn't too upset about that, despite the mess they'd make running around in there. Better that than a bunch of critters dying. I was still looking forward to getting rid of all these dogs. Don't know why I was letting them all hang out, other than that I had nothing to do with them. So with the animals running everywhere, Hamlet seemed to be leading the bunch of them, which is fine because he is the smartest one. And finally, after having been gone 3-4 days, I'd made it back in my fancy new armor. There's all kinds of crazy critters around my home. Fortunately, they couldn't get on inside, cause me any problems. I put my stuff away, I had a meal, decided to do a little bit of cleaning, but then I was off to bed. While sleeping, I had a boar show up, friendly as could be. Decided he was going to become a meal. A wild woman was still laying around, and transport pod had crashed. Theo, falling out of space apparently. I was so tired and had such a rough time. I debated on rescuing her, letting her lay. She didn't seem like she was going to last too much longer. But in the end, since I'm trying to do the right thing, I ran on out to see if I could get her before she passed away. And it wasn't looking good, I can tell you that. She had some nice clothes on, so I decided to take them at least. She was in bad shape. Sadly, wasn't a lot I could do. In the end, I decided to try, though, despite the fact that I'd already stripped her clothes off. wasn't going to be time to gather up any medicine for her. But in the end, I was able to save her. She's clearly having some heart issues, which was unfortunate. But for now, she wouldn't die, so I picked up her clothes. I guess I'd probably have to give them back to her. And then I brought her on inside. Careful not to be a creep, touch her in a creepy way, as I was carrying her naked body around. Probably shouldn't have stripped her, in all honesty. But it was too late for that. I didn't think she was going to make it. I got her in bed. Decided it was time for me to toss little horseshoes, since it had been a while, since I'd had some good enjoyment. That pig's running around, waiting to be killed. The place was a mess. And Theo was hungry, so I brought her some food. Made sure her light was on. The temperature was comfortable in there. But I turned on the AC, just in case the days were hot yet, despite the rain. When I woke up, it was high time I did a bunch of cleaning, which took forever, but I had to get back on top of things around here. I had a meal after that. Decided to get to rebuilding some of those animal beds so they weren't all sleeping on the ground. Some of them didn't even have a proper place to lay. I had plenty of leather, so that wasn't a problem. I hauled it around. Got to feeding Theo. She was right hungry by then. I planned a few extra beds as well, since I was running pretty low on certain types of leather but not on others, and the animals seemed picky about what type of leather they get apparently. So I made the beds, which involved a whole lot of hauling leather back and forth. My crops are well overdue for some attention, and with those hops I could make some wort, get some more beer going, so I worked on that a little bit as well. My medicine was due, and that was great. Theo could walk by then, but she decided to hang out since she was getting taken care of, which is alright by me. It was nice to have somebody to chat with. I had a meal and planned a bunch of cleaning while doing so. The place sure was a pigsty. Maybe some outside flagstones to keep some of that at bay. I was plucking some heel root like nobody's business. And one of them crazy big raccoons decided to join me at that point. Seemed like a friendly enough guy, actually. Most of the time those things scare the pants off me. I killed the pig, since there was just too many mouths to feed around here. And I do enjoy pork, and it had been a while. Should have made a nice pig roast out of it. I plucked some plants, carried some stuff in, and then I was off to bed. While sleeping, a buzzing started in my ear, which was unpleasant. Well, there wasn't much I could do about that. I was pretty sure I was going to kill that giant raccoon thing. Looked like he'd have a right bit of meat on him. Some ambrosia sprouted up as well. Seemed like that's a common occurrence around here, which is fortunate. I can't let myself indulge too much, but once in a while. Grabbed some of my hops, made some more wort, brought some food to Theo. Once again, the day-to-day is kind of dragging me down around here, but getting this fancy armor was a good play. Crazy mad rabbit came running in, killed itself on one of my traps, which is unfortunate since I was going to have to rebuild that now. I'd get a little bit of meat out of it, but I don't really think it was worth it. I didn't have anywhere to put that rabbit's body at the minute. So for now, I'd have to plan on butchering him. It's probably a high time I made some more food for these animals anyway, considering they were eating up all mine. So that was going to be my next course of action. And that's just what I did. Then I butchered up that pig. Decided that rabbit be next on the list. Then I picked him up, Seemed like Hamlet was letting me down on the hauling stuff, which is unfortunate. Perhaps he needs a little bit of attention in that regard, be trained up again. Then I decided to sit and just chill. It was nice. I was wearing out my fancy armor. Decided I was going to have to take that off at some point here. Get it put on my rack for any time when I may get attacked. That was the next move. Get that stuff put away. It was nice to have it all off. Feel the wind on my bald head once again. Then it was time to make another animal bed. At least prepare for it before getting dressed again. Theo needed feeding by then, once again. And the animal beds needed building. Which I did those things before getting back to planting corn. And then I was hungry. And of course, once again, place needed cleaning. And I decided to do some training on Hamlet too, after cleaning stuff up a bit. He's a lot more useful. I keep him knowing what he needs to be doing. In the end, I decided to hit the hay. I also had to tell all these animals, stay the heck out of my building. While sleeping, a bunch of grizzly bears showed up, pissed off at the world, thinking they were going to get the better of me. I didn't think I had enough traps to deal with them, so I was running on out, see if I could get my door closed before they got to me. Sadly, though, it didn't look like I was going to make it, so I was going to have to deal with them another way. So I was shooting at them, hoping between the gun and the traps they'd all go down. That's just how it went, which is fortunate. I don't need to be injured again, and I don't have my armor on. Not all of them were dead. One of them got up, started walking off. He thought better, coming on in and attacking me. I was going to have a mountain of bear meat here. And I decided I was going to use it, make a bunch of kibble, see if I could get a stockpile of food going for these animals, so I wouldn't have to be making it so frequently. I brought the first one on in, got him butchered up. Decided to make a whole bunch of food out of these boys. I was going to have to rebuild all those traps. That was the worst part of it. Occasionally stopping to feed Theo and myself as well. At least I'd get the last of that insect meat used up. And a bunch of the bear meat too, so it wouldn't go bad. I'd made a bunch of kibble. But that's no reason not to make a bunch more. Especially with that huge raccoon creature hanging out. Eating like nobody's business. For now, I wasn't going to kill him because I didn't need the meat. Maybe he'd prove useful should someone come in here and attack me. He looked like he could fight alright. And that would be handy. So I focused on making kibble. Trying to get all that meat put in the freezer too. Some of it had overflowed into my main storage room, which certainly wasn't equipped to keep meat from going bad. By then, it was time to do some cleaning. And by then I was so tired I could do nothing else but hit the hay. It had been a long couple days, but getting that armor saved me the trouble of having to figure out how to make it. So from here on out, should be well set. Get myself to a point where I could get well equipped, hit the road. That'd be a thing for tomorrow.